Hello everybody. Leeds have lost to Birmingham. Yes, we're back in 2015. Yes, we're back in 2014, 2013. The club is a shit show. Real simple. It's such. Look, the team is nothing short of an absolute embarrassment today. I've done a negative string of tweets because I'm emotive about it. I'm frustrated above anything. It's a shit show. It's an absolute shit show, and we're going to be looking down rather than up. It's not an overreaction. This is what I've said from day dot, from the start of the season. You've got so many happy clappers, and I'll say deluded fans who genuinely think because it's Leeds United, because they don't watch any other football team, and because they create their own narratives. We all know who we're talking about here. You'll have them in your friendship groups, your family groups, all this sort of stuff. They create their own narratives toward Leeds United. Whatever happens, they don't watch any other teams in football. And they seem to think, no matter what, an unconscious bias, that Leeds United will win every single game and they'll go up. They're completely deluded. They're not looking at the whole pie. They're looking at a small fraction of it. Leeds are up shit creek without a paddle. FFP is problematic. We've got 20 days left of the transfer window. We've just lost to one of the shittest sides, in my opinion. I could not believe how bad they were. And this is no disrespect on Birmingham. There's probably going to be an upward trajectory when it comes to how things are going to change with them, because obviously they've got the American owners now. There's probably going to be players coming in. They've got a little bit of a solid base in the Championship when you're looking at the height at the back, when you look at players like Dion Sanderson, Kevin Long, etc., Ethan Laird, who looked okay today, probably one of their better players. But we're not here to talk about Birmingham. We're here to talk about Leeds United, and there's nothing. There is nothing there. So you're kind of hoping. We've had so many shithouses leave the club on loan. We've had so many shithouses this week, evidently, who don't want to play for the club even when it's in dire straits. This is a club that's been relegated from the Premier League. We're supposed to be one of the big dogs in the Championship. But at this moment in time, we're looking like a fucking 2-week-old puppy. It's embarrassing. And that was just nothing. Jamie Shackleton, why is he getting in ahead of Lewis Bate? Don't understand. Jamie Shackleton is a bang average footballer who won't look out of place in League Two. Joe Rodon, we brought him in from Spurs. I understand he needs to acclimatise. He might not be as fit. That might be the external factors or whatever, but just start him. Even if he's 75% fit, I'd have him in that game too. Although I thought Cresswell did okay. The defensive line isn't something that I'm massively irked about. Aside from Luke Ayling, who's just truly a woeful football player, a woeful defender. Now 1v1 when he was at his pomp, Luke Ayling was decent, but now he's 1% of that. He gets done 1v1 every single time. Cannot defend square. I've always said this with me: defend square. Doesn't show the attacker goal side, or he shows him goal side too much. Ethan Ampadu, once again, he's getting frustrated. Ethan Ampadu's getting frustrated. He's on the ball and he's asking for options. He's asking for something. Nothing. No options. No one trying to show for it. Poveda looks scared today. Looks scared, and that just shows his development. At Blackburn and Blackpool, he's barely featured. Comes in for Leeds United, and we're all getting really excited about him. Or certain fans are getting excited about him because in pre-season he put one in against Nottingham Forest, third team. It's not good enough. Some fans need to wake up if they're not acknowledging the fact right now that we're going to be looking down rather than up, because that's exactly what we're going to be looking at. Leeds are an absolute show at the minute, and things need to happen in 20 days. If things don't happen in the next 20 days, Leeds United are going to be looking at a 13th and below place finish. Very, very similar to what we did prior Marcelo Bielsa, and we're looking right now a shadow of that side. And I feel so sorry for Daniel Farke having to deal with the hand he's been dealt. Nothing seems to be moving. We keep getting told we're looking at targets, FFP this, FFP that. We're in for loan players, then we're not in for loan players. We're selling players, then we're not selling players. It's absolutely up in the air. And I cannot understand for the life of me when the 49ers have been part of the club, when Angus Kinnear has been part of the shit show that's happened before with Victor Orta and Andrea Radrizzani, how there's been no understanding of any of these clauses whatsoever. Not a clue. It's all been Victor Orta and Andrea Radrizzani just in the secret club signing these players, putting these clauses in. Where's Angus Kinnear been in all of this, the CEO? The 49ers have had absolutely no understanding of what's going on, of what's happened. Come on, they're still part ownership within this club. They're still at the table. You've seen this in documentaries, Calvin Phillips documentary, you know, Leeds United's documentary series, where they're in the boardroom, they're talking, they'll have known bits of what's going on. I cannot, I understand they've been surprised maybe by some things, I get that, but they cannot have just been naive to this whole thing. They cannot. There must have been some due diligence at some stage. And Angus Kinnear, what is his role? He was supposed to be the transitional guy who moved from one ownership to another ownership. Where's his understanding of what's been going on within these contracts? These players have just been able to leave for nothing. You know, did the 49ers just learn of that as soon as they came in? Surely not. Surely not as shrewd businessmen. They should have been at the table when stuff like this was happening, or they should have understood what was happening. At this moment in time, I actually cannot believe what I'm watching. I cannot believe how you know, Shrewsbury, we struggled, everyone. We're having to bring Sinisterra on against Shrewsbury. A conversation about him's for a different day. But it is an absolute dump at the minute. And only us can go from being in the Premier League, you know, you get the utilisation of parachute payments. And this is why I'm always so cynical and pessimistic, because it never seems to run for us right. Never seems to be in the right direction. Never seems to be fucking normal. Never seems to be normal. A team that's relegated from the Premier League and is apparently in the green when it comes to accounts as of last year, as per se Mike McGrath and everybody's been doing the, you know, the analytical stuff when it comes to Leeds' accounts. We're in the green. We come down and we're just in this absolute state when it comes to players going out and players coming in. The squad at this minute is absolutely ruptured by injuries. We think they're injuries. We think some of them are injuries. Now I'm sceptical. Is Jack Harrison injured? Is he injured? You know, because we know he wanted to move toward the back end of last season. Is Sinisterra injured? Got a knock after the other game of the day, but is he injured? We know Willie Nontos refused to play. You know, Willie as well. This has made it 10 times worse, 1,000 times worse for him, because what you're seeing out there is kids struggling. You know, Leeds have lost, 8 players? 8 players from last season when you look at Rocker, Aronson, all that sort of stuff. And who have they been replaced by? Ethan Ampadu. And who else? Kids and loanees who've come back. And people have underestimated the Championship. And I've said this to so many people, and I've got dog's abuse for people who've underestimated this division. And some of you will be watching this, you've all underestimated it. A big percentage of it. Leeds will come down and walk it. We're not going to walk it. It's naivety and it's arrogance, just thinking because we're Leeds United, we're going to come down and do so. We didn't utilise the parachute payments. We haven't utilised the parachute payments. I know it's over a 3-year period. I understand that Leeds aren't in the bracket yet, but we've not been able to sell assets, which isn't going to enable us to do anything in the market. That's not up to me. It's not up to you. It's up to the club. What's happening with loans? Why can't we go out and get loan signings? Why can't we do that? Why can't we utilise that? We've shown it with Joe Rodon. Why can't we go and get Jed Spence on a loan, a season-long loan? Why can't that happen? Why can't we be doing these things? Apparently we are doing these things in the background. Everybody keeps telling me we're doing it in the background. Don't be asking too much. Sorry, I'm asking a bit too much. I'm asking for 3 new signings. I'm asking for 3 or 4 new signings with 20 days left of the transfer window. Just be patient. Just be patient. Well, I'll be patient. I'll be patient if other people mediate their expectations. If they mediate or lower, but beyond a middle ground, their understanding of what is going to go on this season. Because Leeds United, if it carries on like this, are looking down rather than up. This week has been an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. From missing out on Max Aarons, which apparently now nobody cares about, to players refusing to play for the club, which Leeds obviously can't control, understandably. But no, but aside from Joe Rodon, no real activity. You know, it's no strike. No, we're not looking at any strike replacements. Injury after injury after injury. It's a concoction at the minute of negativity, and I understand I'm amplifying it coming on here and doing this, but you've got to talk about it. That's what these fan channels are about. It's about talking. It's talking about it. It's that therapy. It's airing your frustration. But what you're seeing on the pitch there, it's just. And I don't know if I blame them. I'm even looking at Daniel Farke, who's bringing Joe Rodon on for his debut in the 92nd minute to go up front. What's that saying to Joe Rodon? It's embarrassing. It's an absolute embarrassment. And I feel sorry for Farke. But I'm looking at these players. Jamie Shackleton's not a championship footballer. Joe Gelhart's not a championship footballer. They're not. And it's realism. It's pure realism. But we're losing to Birmingham City. We've drawn to a shite Cardiff side. Next we've got West Brom, then we've got Ipswich. Stuff needs to drastically change, everybody. Why can't we just have just nice things sometimes? I just want nice things. Leeds have lost 1-0 to Birmingham. in the most predictable scoreline of all time. Of all time. I said to my dad they're going to score a scrappy goal and it's going to be 1-0 on 45 minutes. And I presume all of you did as well. It's so predictable with this club. It's so predictable. We had a couple of meaningful efforts. It wasn't Byram's header, it was the defender's header which went out for a Birmingham goal kick. And then Rutter had a shot that was blocked. That was it. That we had nothing. There's nothing there. There's no creativity. There's no innovativeness. There's no guile. There's no creativity. Shout out to Archie Gray, who I thought was magnificent again. Who it looks like we're going to be relying on for probably the remainder of the season. We're going to stunt his development. I can't be arsed with it, everybody. Things need to change drastically. We need to either go for it in terms of FFP or we need to work around it and bring in free agents or loans, because this side is too young and it's not good enough, and there are free agents out there who are better than what we've got right now. Something needs to change. Let me know in the comment section below. Leeds United.